parsha, Baha'alotecha, is filled with many interesting events. From the wrath of God's anger upon his people to Miriam receiving a skin disease, I would not say that God was particularly happy with the Israelites this week. Although this is an action-packed parsha, I would like to focus on the first and arguably more overlooked part of this parsha. In the beginning of Baha'alotecha, the Israelites complain about their current food conditions, reminiscing about the luxuries they had back in Egypt, such as fish, fruits, and vegetables. Moses, being overwhelmed, goes to God asking, "Why have you placed the burden of this people upon me? I alone cannot carry this entire nation, for it is too heavy a burden." I would like to recognize Moses' vulnerability at this moment. As a leader of these people, Moses accepts the fact that delivering help can be more efficient when there are several people participating. God understands and appreciates this, instructing Moses to gather for me 70 of Israel's elders, of whom you have experience as elders and officers of the people, and bring them to the tent of meeting and let them take their place there with you. When reading this, I came to question why exactly God chose to appoint elders. It is understandable that they are the first group of people God thinks of due to their experience and understanding of the customs and traditions of those who are complaining. God also mentions specifically choosing those with experience in office so they can be trusted by both God and Moses. Although these reasons for choosing elders are justifiable at the time that this event occurred, I was still conflicted. Those who were complaining may have still been stuck on slavery, feeling dependent and unable to be self-sufficient. I wonder if appointing a younger generation may have been more beneficial because they might have further understood the complaints of the Israelites. Applying this decision to our society today happens to be very controversial, and understandably so. Those who are in the older generations can tend to stick to the customs that they know and may not be as adaptable to change. In this parsha, the Israelites found it hard to adapt to change, as it was the anniversary of their exodus from Egypt. They were found to be complaining and missing how it was when they were in Egypt, even though they were enslaved. In some ways, my peers on the Teen Philanthropy board and I can relate to this concept, as each of us had to adapt to change this past year. When we met for our sessions back in the winter, we knew that our priorities might change. Seeing all of the drastic change and going through some of it ourselves, we knew that there are people out there who need more help than ever. Similar to Moses, Milwaukee's Jewish community knows that this serious, impactful change cannot be accomplished by one person alone. This is what we are here for, a group of Jewish youth with the ambition to serve our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Talia, and thanks to everyone for being here from the Milwaukee Jewish Federation's 4th Annual Teen Philanthropy Board Grant Ceremony. I am Justin Cohn, a sophomore at Homestead High School in Mequon and a member of Congregation Shalom. I just completed my first year on the Teen Philanthropy Board. For those of you who aren't familiar with the board, we are a bunch of Jewish teens who get together to learn about philanthropy through the lens of Jewish values. We can carefully pick out together organizations that make the world a better place, especially for Jewish people, to receive the money we've raised. Each of us donated $120 and fundraised through family and friends. I applied for the board because I have friends who had been doing it, and they said how much of an impact it was. So I wanted to do it too. Usually the board meets monthly, in person, from October through May. Not surprisingly, with the pandemic, this year was different. Though we still met the same number of times, it was compressed from January through May, and we met over Zoom. We'd start with an icebreaker to get to know each other, since there are 41 of us from all around Milwaukee. Then, we'd learn about philanthropy and the allocation process and talk about the organizations we wanted to donate to. It has been a privilege for me to serve the community this way. I know there are people younger than me who may not know about the injustices in our world. I'm old enough now to understand the injustices and to know we need changes. I'm glad I live in a community like Milwaukee that has Teen Philanthropy Board and makes it possible for us to help others in this way. As part of the board, I learned so much more about the Jewish value of respect. We had to come to a consensus on how to distribute the grant money. Even though we may not all agree, it is important to hear others out. It's important to hear other ideas. It's important to recognize we all have a voice. I also learned about the Jewish value of responsibility. Even though I'm busy with school and track and piano lessons and other things, it was my responsibility to keep up with the meetings and participate. And as a Jewish person, it was and is my responsibility to help others and help society. As we raise more money and learn more throughout the year, I saw we are slowly but surely making a difference. And over multiple years, I know we will make big changes. The Teen Philanthropy Board has really shown me the importance of philanthropy, and I will definitely continue on this amazing journey.
Hi, my name is Miriam Rosenzweig, and I'm the president and CEO of the Milwaukee Jewish Federation. The Teen Philanthropy Board is one of my favorite Milwaukee Federation programs. And I think after hearing Talia and Justin talk, and once you hear what Kara has to share, it's going to be clear why the board is so close to my heart. At 16, Justin has such a deep understanding and appreciation of philanthropy. His passion for social action is clear, and our community is so fortunate that he's already hard at work for us and supporting our communal organizations. I absolutely loved how Talia interpreted this week's Torah portion in her Dvar Torah. It's such a great reminder of the fact that while the Torah guides and even dictates our actions, in so many ways, it also serves for all of us as a source of reflection. What is written in the Torah enables us to consider the past and reconcile it, or not reconcile it. What happens then with what we are experiencing today? The Torah is always there for us, an opportunity to take time to think about what our ancestors went through, what our ancestors taught us, and what they chose to do, and then learn what we could do to build upon this and make this place and this world even a better, wiser place to live. Federation's work is much the same. It's a mix of the past, the future, and the present. We are rooted in the Jewish teachings of tzedakah, of charity. We are rooted in traditions like tikkun olam, making the world a better place. But as we are looking for additional opportunities to support and different communities and different tactics for tackling very complex community-wide challenge. And yet at times of change, our mission of caring for the needs of the Jewish people and building a vibrant Jewish future endures. This is why I'm so thrilled to be leading the Federation's work with our volunteer partners, our board, our chair of the board, Moshe Katz, our incoming chair, Joan Lubar, who are all looking to you as our future and looking at the commitment that you're already making. And there is no way to think that we don't have a bright future without looking at this Teen Philanthropy Board. As Talia noted, there is a tremendous value in seeking the counsel of the younger community members who are not set in their ways, who don't have the experience of saying, well, this is why it didn't work last time, and who don't want us to always do things the way we did before. That's why the Teen Philanthropy Board was started 4 years ago, thanks to a very generous grant from the Anonymous Fund, as well as Spud and Sue Selig's Donor Advised Fund of the Jewish Community Foundation. The board's mission is to develop Jewish teen leaders who collaborate and strengthen community relationships as they give back to Greater Milwaukee. The Teen Board operates as a true foundation. It raises funds. It has important analytical discussions about each grant request and each organization. It then allocates the funds to organizations that they feel are most deserving, would be good stewards of the dollars, and would make a difference. As you can tell, the board's work meshes perfectly with the overall Federation mission, identifying needs, raising funds, and investing resources wisely. The impact of the Teen Philanthropy Board is both immediate and long-term. Right now, we're connecting teens to each other and learning about grant making and nonprofit functions and the philanthropic model. We're empowering our teens and helping them understand great community needs, grant strategies, grant proposals, decision-making, and consensus building. Right now, as you will soon hear about, the Teen Philanthropy Board is granting an astounding amount of funding to local Milwaukee organizations to help them during one of the most difficult times in our generation. But the impact of Teen Philanthropy Board will be long lasting as well. Teen Philanthropy is part of a lifelong Jewish and philanthropic journey. The dozens of teens in the program now will create change today and far into the future. And they are learning the value of input so that they can encourage the next generation to partner with them when they're the ones who are making change. This program also helps foster a vibrant Jewish future through the funds they are investing. As Justin mentioned, the funding year after year will have a cumulative effect. Funds will help a variety of organizations to strengthen the overall community. I want to acknowledge that this was a rough year. This was a hard year to participate in Teen Philanthropy. You did it over Zoom. Jen Saber, you're an incredible teacher. Sippy Altman Schaefer, you're an incredible educator. But we know that this is not the same experience that you would have had if we were meeting in person. It's been hard on so many people across our community, and we appreciate your resilience. I want to thank you for sticking to it, sticking with it, even though you couldn't be in person. Thank you for rising above your own struggles to contribute to the greater good. When no one else wanted to go on another Zoom call, you volunteered to go through a program to learn how to help other people. It's incredible. You're an inspiration for me. And I know that when I come to work each day, I'm thrilled knowing that you're the future of our community. Now, for those of you coming back next year, I can't wait to see what you accomplish in 21-22. For those of you who are graduating or moving on to new chapters, thank you for all you've done. I look forward to hearing about all the great things that you accomplish in life. Mazel tov to all of you, mazel tov to the organizations receiving funding, and mazel tov to our community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cara Goldstein, a senior at Nicolay High School and a member of Congregation Beth Israel Ner Tamid. This was my third year participating in the Federation's Teen Philanthropy Board. Each year I participated, I learned more and I grew more. In the past 2 years, I got to welcome a new generation of freshmen and sophomores, people I grew up with, but who I didn't know I would one day be involved with in this way through the board. This year, I was especially proud of my board participation because I felt like a true leader. Before, I had trouble finding my voice. I have gained a lot of confidence over the years and was able to share more and more. I will be attending the University of Minnesota next year. I think that I'll take with me what I learned from the board, especially about decision-making and the allocations process. I learned about hearing others' perspectives and how, even if I don't necessarily agree with them, to respect them. I learned how to compromise or even to go with someone else's idea entirely. I have learned valuable skills that I will definitely put into practice later in life. I feel confident I can continue to lead in the future, especially when it comes to leading discussions that include many different opinions. This year, I also applied for and was one of the 10 teens accepted into the National Youth Ambassador Council, which brought together teens from all over the country who are participating in similar philanthropy programs. Though we came from different places and backgrounds, we shared a passion for philanthropy and the common bond of being raised Jewish. We formed groups based on our interests and met virtually, and worked on a final project together. My group interviewed different people about philanthropy with a focus on why Jewish people felt responsible to give back. We created a video from the interviews. It was cool to be a part of a national program and to connect with people I never would have met otherwise. But I also liked being part of the board here in Milwaukee, where we are making decisions and doing more of the direct philanthropy stuff. This year was different because everything was online, including fundraising, and there were no site visits. During the past years, site visits, I gained more knowledge about the organizations that were requesting grants. I gained different perspectives from meeting with the people there. They came from all different places and had many different passions. Every time I met with someone, I left with a different perspective. Some of my most memorable visits were with the program for survivors of sexual assault and the Friendship Circle, and with the Jewish Museum Milwaukee, which, while committed to Jewish education, reaches a diverse audience throughout Milwaukee. This year, I was especially proud of the organizations who requested funding. There were some different organizations from past years, including organizations focused on combating and educating against racial injustice. This shows we're reaching new community members and new organizations. When discussing who to select for grants this year, our board members represented all different passions. I'm most interested in racial and social justice. Others have passions such as addressing hunger. We read through requests for funding. Once we got closer to making decisions, we had good conversations. We talked about things like, if we give this much, what will it cover? Could the organization possibly get matching funds? We discussed and we decided. Together, the Teen Philanthropy Board selected 4 organizations to receive a total of $18,000. Now we're excited to share with you a video announcing this year's amazing grant recipients and explanations from them about how they will be using their funding.
On behalf of the Milwaukee Jewish Federation Teen Philanthropy Board, we would like to present Friendship Circle with a check to support Safe Talk suicide prevention training.
Thank you so much for all your support and for everything you do for the community. It's an honor to receive this gift, and I'm sure it'll get put to really good use.
A huge shout out to the Milwaukee Jewish Teen Philanthropy Board for awarding Friendship Circle for this incredible grant. Thank you so much for everything that all of you are doing. I know you'll all be leaders in the coming years, and I look forward to watching you all grow up to be philanthropies in your own communities. The funding that you're giving to the Friendship Circle is going to make a big difference. Every little bit will impact someone's life. We hope to direct these funds towards our suicide prevention training program called Safe Talk, which is a 3 to 4 hour training to teach people how to be alert and how to help people who are having thoughts of suicide. We specifically plan to use these funds to offer subsidized trainings for teenagers who are struggling with thoughts of suicide, who are around people which are struggling with thoughts of suicide, and this way we can bring the training to hundreds and hundreds of more teens in our very own community right here. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for awarding us this grant, and we can't wait to show you the results of what this money will do.
On behalf of the Milwaukee Jewish Federation's Teen Philanthropy Board, we would like to present the Good People Fund with a check to support the Human Needs and Self-Sufficiency Program. We will be accepting the funds on their behalf. We appreciate all the meaningful work that they do for the community.
Wow. Milwaukee Teen Philanthropy Board, we are so excited. The Good People Fund is honored and excited to receive this grant, which we know will change many, many lives for the better. You might ask, how do we know this? Quite simply, in addition to helping small nonprofit organizations in Israel and the United States grow and flourish, we've also been directly helping individuals and families for many years. What we have seen over the past 15 months since the pandemic began is unlike anything we have ever experienced before. There are millions of people in our country who can no longer be self-sufficient. So many, once able to provide sufficient food or shelter or clothing or basic needs for themselves and their families, now struggle to provide those same basic needs today. Sadly, the pandemic has impacted those very people who were tottering on the edge and thrown them over. There are so many stories that I could share with you that would show you how this $4,500 will make a difference. I could tell you about the family with a child who suffers from a rare and life-threatening disease. Before the pandemic, his mom worked in a school. But when schools closed, she lost her employment, and with that, the income that was so important to help sustain the family. Now the family's having trouble paying rent. Schools are opening and mom is going back to work, but they still owe the landlord a lot of money. Imagine what your tzedakah will do for them. Or for the senior citizen with multiple sclerosis and other serious health issues who always managed to provide for herself by house sitting or pet sitting for her community. When the pandemic hit, those jobs almost entirely disappeared, and she could no longer be assured that she would be able to have the means to buy sufficient food to sustain herself. We purchased gift cards for her local supermarket, and that has helped her get over the rough spots. We have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on gift cards for food, for rent supplements, for utility bills, for medical visits. Your $4,500 will make it possible for even more people to survive during this very difficult and scary time. When the Good People Fund began over 13 years ago, we selected the name Good People to describe not only the many inspiring visionaries whose work we support, but also to describe those very generous donors who help make it all possible. We are happy to call all of you good people. Thank you for selecting us to share your tzedakah with those who have so little. It is an honor for us.
On behalf of the Milwaukee Jewish Federation Teen Philanthropy Board, we would like to present the Nathan and Esther Peltz Holocaust Education Resource Center with a check to support the Respecting Individuals' Differences program.
Well, thank you so much. This means a lot. My name is Samantha Abramson, and I'm the Executive Director at the Nathan and Esther Peltz Holocaust Education Resource Center, also known as HERC. On behalf of our board and our staff, I wanted to thank the Milwaukee Jewish Teen Philanthropy Board for their generous gift. We are so honored to have received this support, especially as we are aware that many of the teens in this program also have participated in HERC programs in the past. This gift will allow HERC to grow its Respecting Individual Differences program to reach schools statewide. With the passing of Holocaust education legislation this spring, which will mandate students across our state to learn the lessons of the Holocaust, this gift could not be more relevant or timely. And we are so grateful to the Teen Philanthropy Board for allowing us to continue this important work.
On behalf of the Milwaukee Jewish Federation's Teen Philanthropy Board, we would like to present Tikkun Ha'ir with a check to support Communal Jewish Racial Justice Training Series Phase 2. Thank you very much. We're very honored to receive this funding for this important work.
This is Sammy Stein-Avner, Executive Director of Tikkun Ha'ir of Milwaukee. We want to say thank you so much to the Jewish Teen Philanthropy Board for this gift. This funding will be used to further our Jewish racial justice work. We had an amazing, impactful first year and ran a Jewish racial justice training series. And we're so excited and appreciative to move forward with this coming year with these funds. So thank you again so much.
On behalf of the Milwaukee Jewish Federation's Teen Philanthropy Board, we would like to present Youth Futures and the South Jordan Drainage and Streams Authority with a check to support the very meaningful work you do in Israel.
Thank you so much to Toda Rabah for considering programs in Sovev Kinneret in our partnership region in your philanthropic work. It's really, really an honor, and we thank you so much. Continue with your important work. Toda Rabah. Thank you so much on behalf of P2G and the Israel Center.
Dear Jennifer and the Teen Philanthropy program in Milwaukee, thank you so much. My name is Shali and I'm from Youth Futures here in Tiberias. And I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your generous donation for us. I had a plan and I didn't know how to make it happen, and suddenly receiving your donation will help me create my thoughts a reality. And I'm going to take our 6th grade children from Tiberias with one of their parents for a trip outside of the city, a whole day in the nature. And I was thinking day after day, how can I make it happen before they go to the junior high school? And I'm so happy and excited to tell you that you will be the ones who will make this dream come true. So thank you so much, and I'm sending you many hugs and also prayers for peace and for good times all over the world, and also during these challenging days here in Israel. So thank you again.
Dear Teen Philanthropy, Shalom. My name is Tamar, and I am from the South Jordan Streams and Drainage Authority. We were so honored and happy to learn of the donation made by you. Thank you for your generous support in our educational and communal projects. Remarkable young people like you inspire and encourage us to continue creating wonderful communal projects. Toda rabah.
Shalom, my name is Jennifer Saber, and I am the Teen Philanthropy Coordinator for the Milwaukee Jewish Federation. This is my first year leading the Teen Philanthropy Board and my first grant ceremony. And yes, everything has been virtual, but I am so impressed by our teens and the work they have accomplished this year. As Miriam said, despite many obstacles, they persevered. They fulfilled their mission to act as a foundation that brings about social change and builds a vibrant Jewish community. This year, 41 9th through 12th graders, representing 7 high schools and 7 Milwaukee synagogues, met virtually 9 times to learn about philanthropy, Jewish values, and social justice issues. Together, we built a community of Jewish teens across multiple religious denominations, neighborhoods, and schools. We learned about the allocation process, decision-making through consensus building, and Milwaukee nonprofits. We worked as a team to discuss who the board wanted to receive the funding and to select the grant recipients we just met. While the teens are united by their Jewish backgrounds and commitment to philanthropy, as Kara mentioned, they are a diverse group in other ways. The teens represent different interests, backgrounds, experiences, and expertise. They really talked through quite a few differences to build consensus on who would receive funding. Simply put, these teens worked hard. On top of that, they exercised their fundraising muscles by reaching out to family and friends to raise funds for the 4 organizations you just heard from, who the teens handpicked. It is a time commitment, an emotional commitment, and a financial commitment for these teens. I am so proud of each and every one of you. I now want to recognize the following Teen Philanthropy Board members who have achieved a milestone this year. Mazel tov to those who are the founding members of the Milwaukee Teen Philanthropy Board and have been in the program for all 4 years of high school. Maya Biskowitz, Jordan Sadoff, Lauren Glessman, and Ava Wales. I would also like to thank Kara Goldstein for her hard work on the National Youth Ambassador Council. She was one of 10 teens chosen from around the country to participate. Thank you to Essie and Nechama Kittner for representing the Teen Philanthropy Board and delivering a Devar Torah at a recent Milwaukee Jewish Federation board meeting. A thank you to the teens who participated in the grant recipient videos. Toda rabah to Taylor Arnstein, Josh Hirsch, Aaron Hirsch, Justin Hirsch, and Benji Lukacs. And I must acknowledge a group of 7 families who I cannot thank enough. For each Teen Philanthropy Board meeting, these families delivered treat bags to the homes of each of our 41 board members. That's many collective hours of volunteering their time, not to mention their gasoline. A round of applause for the following families: the Hirsch family, the Sadoff family, the Oppenheimer family, the Arnstein family, the Elner family, the Biskowitz family, and the Sweet family. As a thank you, during this last round of treat bag deliveries, we included a gift for you to show our deep appreciation. Thank you all for sharing your time with us to make this unique year a success. The program would not be possible without the support of the Coalition for Jewish Learning and Milwaukee Jewish Federation staff. Thank you to Tzippi Altman-Schaefer, Jewish Education Community Planner, Judy O'Hara, Herc and Education Administrative Coordinator, Kate Schmidt, Event Planner, and Melissa Taylor, Digital Media Specialist. I also want to recognize the Israel and Overseas Committee for your very generous donation. Thanks to you, the teens were able to make a significant contribution to the organizations they deemed most worthwhile this year. The teens chose to donate the funds to Youth Futures and the South Jordan Drainage and Streams Authority. Most of all, I want to thank the teens for participating. I know it was an interesting year, to say the least. Your commitment and passion for Jewish philanthropy has been admirable. You have invested in yourselves. You have invested in our community. I hope you will take what we've learned together and keep it close as you travel along your life's journey. As a thank you to the teens, we have given each of them a handcrafted tzedakah box. The artist, Jim Selinsky, created a fantastic piece of art to help us thank the teens for their meaningful work. We are very thankful to Jim for doing this. And it's never too early to think about next year. I want to close with a call for 2021-2022 Teen Philanthropy Board applicants. We are starting the process for recruiting new 9th through 12th graders to participate this fall. Each new person brings a new perspective and new contributions to this important program. Please spread the word to your neighbors and your friends in your community. Think about asking those younger siblings and cousins to apply. At the end of the ceremony, we'll be sharing my contact information so that anyone who is interested can receive an application to apply for the honor of being on next year's board. Toda rabah.
I want to end by thanking Jennifer, Miriam, and the entire Milwaukee Jewish Federation for making the Teen Philanthropy Board possible. I want to thank Talia and Kara and all my amazing peers on the Teen Philanthropy Board. Most of all, I want to thank my family and friends. As I said, my friends are the ones who inspired me to join the board. They made helping others sound cool, and it is. I definitely plan on being part of the board for the next 2 years. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. I want them to be inspired to apply to be part of the board and to help create change. I met a lot of new people and I reconnected with a lot of people. Everyone always gave different ideas. Everyone is super nice. But more than anything, being part of the board makes you feel good. You are able to help out and you are able to make an impact on society. Thank you for joining us today. And please remember to encourage local Jewish teens you know to apply for next year's Teen Philanthropy Board. I guarantee it will be a life-changing experience.